morning, everybody. I'm coming at you from beautiful Jupiter Inlet Beach here on a fantastic morning. It's off to a great start. So I hope your summer is also off to a great start. So this week we're going to talk a little bit about the two-handed backhand. Specifically, the role of the racket and the arms and how the trunk works together. We're going to get the racket head to accelerate faster. We're going to make sure that all the parts are moving correctly mechanically to create that heavy ball. That ball that travels through the court, penetrates through the court so that you put the opponents in trouble. We're also going to talk a little bit about how to make that backhand more consistent. So stay tuned, here we go. All right, everybody, let's get right down to brass tacks. The most important thing when that ball comes to your backhand side is to initiate the racket going back by turning the shoulders. So this way everything happens at once. Very important to make sure as we turn the body, the racket goes back. And as the racket goes back, the body goes as well. So it all happens as one unit turn. Too often I see people just pull the racket back with the arms, and occasionally I see people turn the shoulders and leave the racket in front. So it's, again, really important to make sure that as we turn the shoulders, that racket goes back and vice versa, okay? So that's number one. Number two, biomechanically speaking, the best place for your racket to be when you make that backswing is for the racket head to be above the hands. It doesn't have to be too high, but it should be a little bit above the hands. You're gonna see the very best backhands in the world. Every good two-hander, Djokovic, Agassi, you're gonna see all the top players, and Halep and Sharapova, when they make that turn, that racket head's a little bit above the wrist. It's not to say you can't hit it by dipping it down this way, but there's just very simply, as Rick Macy puts, a better way. So we make that turn, the racket head is above the wrist, okay? So when we get here, the reason it's important to keep that racket head up is the racket head is gonna gain momentum, and it's gonna end up dropping and flipping to then accelerate. And you're gonna see the pros, if you watch any of the pros in slow motion, go ahead and YouTube it, and you can see any pro, when they make that good backhand, racket head is up, and as they initiate the forward part of the swing, the racket head is going to drop down and they go forward. Now let's just talk a little bit about the arms. When you make that shoulder turn, the right arm is going to be straight, the left arm is going to be a little bit bent. So we're going to be here. We don't want both arms stiff, we certainly don't want both arms bent. Okay, so again, as we make that shoulder turn, assuming you're right-handed, the right arm is going to be straight, the left arm is going to be just a little bit bent, okay? So we're looking for this position right here as we make that good unit turn. Now we could talk a little bit about stances. We're going to leave that for another video. But there are two ways you can hit that backhand. There are actually probably 3 or 4 ways you could hit it. But you can do the traditional step in, you're going to need that. You can do open stance, you're going to need that sometimes as well. So right now we're going to leave the stances alone. We're just going to talk about the mechanics of the forward and backward part of the swing. So let's cover it so far again. We make our unit turn, right arm is straight, left arm is bent, racket head is up. As that ball is coming, we're going to let the racket head drop down and accelerate forward out towards the target, and then finish over on the right shoulder, okay? Somewhere up over on that side. So as we make the turn and we start our forward part of the swing, we're gonna drop the racket head and accelerate. Now, if you're too tight with the hands, you're not gonna get that natural drop that you want. If you're too tight here and you have that death grip, that racket's not gonna drop, and it's gonna be a very stiff swing. It's gonna be more of a push, and you're not gonna hit that ball through the court, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So we want to have the hands a little bit on the looser side. Something else that will contribute to you accelerating on that shot is exhaling, breathing out when you hit. Okay, you don't have to go crazy and scream, but there should be some expulsion of air out of your lungs when you make contact. Okay, real important. That's going to give you a little bit more range of motion, and then again, that's going to allow the racket head to speed up and go to the opposite side of the body. Okay, so how the heck do we direct that ball? Pretty much remember what Andre Agassi calls that 12-inch rule. For the 6 inches before contact to the 6 inches after contact, that racket head should be extending out towards where you're trying to hit. After the ball is gone, then you can bring that racket head around there. But the longer you keep that racket head in the path of the ball, the more accurately you're going to hit it, okay? So let's just go over it again one more time to make sure we're all set on this. As soon as the ball comes to the backhand side, we make our shoulder turn, right arm straight, left arm bent. Semi-loose on the grip, we're going to drop the racket down and accelerate out towards the target, hopefully finishing over somewhere on the other side of the body, which for you right-handers is going to be your right side of the body, okay? So what I'd like you to do is go out there, give it a try, give me some feedback, pluses, minuses, questions, anything like that. You can inbox me on Facebook, you can inbox me on Instagram, you can reach me on YouTube, so you can reach me anywhere. So let me know how it works. Good luck.